Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Stinker Madness. This is our Year 9 in review, where all three of us break down our favorite bad movies, cult movies, awesome, cool, stupid movies that we saw in the last year of podcasting. We do this every year.
Have we been doing this for 9 years?
Well, no, we've been doing it for 10, Jackie, but that's how this works.
This
We've
is
had
the
our 10th
beginning
anniversary
of 10 years starts today. So next
Yeah.
year will be the completion of our 10th
of
year.
10 years. That's how time works. We're recapping the previous year, which would have been our 9th year. So, yeah.
Feels like we've been doing it a lot longer.
God, forever.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay, since the dawn of time. So, yeah, these are the movies that if you want to skip all the other episodes out of the year, this is
Which
where
you
we
shouldn't do.
You shouldn't do, but you can, and we provide you with an easy roadmap on the movies that you should view that we super liked and why we liked them, and you can just skip to the good stuff. It's like putting in the DVD, scanning through to when Natasha Henstridge's boobs come out. Bada bing, bada boom. That's this show.
Well, you don't have to watch all the movies. These are the ones you should watch, but you should listen to all the episodes twice and then make your friends do that too.
Yeah, you could do that. That's like where you watch Species over and over and over and over and over again, and then make your friends watch Species over and over again.
I just have a supercut of her tits out
Yeah, well, see, that's
that I've looped to be about 10 hours long.
that's just listen to this episode, Sam. That's the metaphor. Now you've broken your own rules.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's get going on this. We'll start with Jackie. No, we always start with Jackie. Let's start with me. I'll let Jackie take last pick this year. Sam's got a confuse.
Are we going to do honorable mentions up front or at the end?
Let's do them at the end.
Okay.
All right. So number 10 for me is Repo Jake.
He was higher for me.
What's his name?
It was higher for me,
Grizzly
too.
Adams.
Haggerty.
Dan Haggerty as Repo Man. And then we always compare it to the one with Billy Ray Cyrus that I can never. Yukon Jack, Crazy Jack, Action Jack.
Radical Jack.
Radical Jack, yeah.
Radical Jack.
It's a very good double feature with Radical Jack.
Absolutely. Man out of his element because he's a race car driver. He's not a repo man. He's a race car driver, but he's using repoing to make ends meet in the big city. Fresh off the bus, never been. The city's ready to chew him up and spit him out, but he's a tough guy. And do you guys remember, did he have a background where he was a tough guy, or was he just a race driver and also knows some karate?
Who?
And a very nice man.
Repo Jake.
I don't think he knew any karate, dude.
He was beating up dudes left and right.
That doesn't take karate. It just takes bonking. He was
a bonker.
bonking.
Okay.
Laboriously bonking. If that is a martial art, I am unaware of that martial art.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I liked that it was full of stinker staples, like wall to wall. Everything that is in bad movies was in this. It was just a series of bad movie cliches, but well done and cheesy. I like the scene where he gets ran over while trying to repo a car because the guy just is having a good time doing cookies, and then your hero of the film just stands in the middle of the road and gets ran over by an accountant. It was awesome.
An accountant who can't pay his car payment.
Yeah, right. Super budget, super dumb, super terrible, super nobody would have ever heard of this movie had Sam not stumbled across it. Very underloved, bad movie. That's as bad as they come. It's just a fun movie.
A rare hidden gem.
Yeah, it was a good pick on Sam's part. So I liked it, and I would do more Dan Haggerty films if they were all that, because, he's a big, burly, beardy, hairy guy with limited talents.
And then he's just going through the motions through the whole thing. I'm going to save some of my favorite parts for later because it is much higher on my list.
Okay.
Where is it on your list, Sammy?
Well, we'll find out.
Well, that will be a surprise for later, Jackie.
Jeez.
Spoiler queen.
God, it's like skipping to the Natasha Henstridge's boobs, and we're trying to avoid that. Come on. So there you go. Number 10.
It's also higher on my list too, Sam.
Well, let's find
Okay,
out.
I'll spoil it. The end of this episode ends in me getting a restraining order by Alicia Silverstone.
Damn it. Again.
oh,
Every time.
It doesn't, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
Maybe, I don't know. She can do whatever she wants.
We'll find out. Sam, you're number 10.
My number 10 is Action USA.
Okay. All right. It's a good one.
The reason is because, so last week when we did, because I think this is actually kind of a strong year. I thought this was going to be a down year, but there's a bunch of movies
some
that I
good
think
stuff.
would make a year in review that did not make the cut this year. And I would have thought that in a weak year for me, last week's film, The Rage, would have made a lower cut because of the stunt work in general and the craziness. But Action USA has all that without all of the fucking really bad dialogue.
Yeah.
It's got its own very bad dialogue that is very funny.
Yeah.
And it is the characters are more charming because they're so crappy. So I think number 1 on Action USA is the stunts. Number 2 is, even though at a limited capacity, Cameron Mitchell is bonkers in the 4 minutes he's on screen. And then Ross Hagen, also with his cowboy bullshit, is completely great. However, William Hubbard as the buddy cop partner, I believe, steals the show.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
With his nonsense. The sort of, I would say, worth the price of admission is the Porsche car chase scene that ends in the jumping through the bus. That was probably the most bananas, even though the whole movie is fun.
Yeah, because it was a stuntman movie. It was directed by stuntman, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, like the John Wick. It was like stunt guys are like, let's just make a fucking movie, and they did a bunch of stunts and then penciled in the plot later, and that usually works out for us.
It's fucking great. Like, Bangkok Dangerous still hasn't been on the show because it's not streaming anywhere. And if you're out there listening and you're like, it's streaming, then just write us at Talk at Stinker Madness or Facebook or whatever, Twitter, all of that, and tell us, because we'll do that episode immediately, because I've been sitting on that one. And I think that's my chief of stuntman doing a movie and just doing all the stunts. It's so much goddamn fun when they do that.
Yeah, I think we both have copies of Bangkok Dangerous, though, so we could just...
Everyone who's ever seen that tracks down a fucking copy and is like, I must have this. This is too much fun.
Well, Action USA is on my list, but it is also higher. And I will tell you that after recapping, because the problem with doing this is sometimes you forget everything. It's not like we go back and watch every single one of these movies right before we record, right? We're going off of memory when we did the episode or when we watched the movie. And I watched all the trailers to all these just to make sure. And
Yes.
Repo Jake was actually number 8, and then I was like, no, it is not, because there's a couple ones that are just so more awesome than that, and Action USA was one of those.
I try to rank them on what I think, and then I watch the trailers to see if there's any jockeying, but this one and Repo Jake were in that sort of 7 to 10 were kind of a toss up for me, but Repo Jake wasn't actually in that 7 to 10 because when I'm looking at the list, I just remember it being so dumb that I loved it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that one is instantly memorable, so it can't move down.
All right. Well, Action USA is an awesome pick. Jackie, do you want to add anything about Action USA?
I don't even remember Action USA.
Wow.
Go.
That sucks, man. It is kind of a generic title, but it is an accurate title. It is Action USA.
In the USA.
We didn't talk about, or you didn't talk about, Sam, the lead actress, Queen No Bra. I can't remember what her name was, but she was fun. The cowboy bar where she gets on stage and sings at karaoke to break up a fight.
So great.
That was awesome. There's like 100 moments in that movie that are awesome that spring to mind for Sam and I. Not so much somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackie's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
You don't remember
I do remember her getting on stage to break up the fight. So
and the Porsche 914 jumping into the bus?
No.
And her ass almost, remember the door comes off the
Yeah.
car and her ass is like inches away from shredding itself against the ground because of stunts.
Or some
Nope.
man's ass in a mini skirt.
Right. Somebody's ass was like, it is so close. And they're doing like 50, skidding around a corner in a 914. It's fucking crazy. Stuntman. Jesus Christ. Jackie, you're number 10.
Blown Away.
Oh, really?
Really?
Surprise pick.
This one didn't even make outside looking in for me,
No.
even though it was my pick, I believe. Wasn't it
Well,
mine?
it was a listener request from
Yeah, I think so.
JR, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Defend your actions, Jackie.
It's just that the accents were all over the place. I really
Yeah.
liked the old guy. What was his name
Lloyd
again?
Bridges.
Lloyd, yeah.
Yeah, I just love that guy. And then I don't know, like the whole premise of God, I am just so brain dead. I'm sorry. The villain, right?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Like his whole Tommy Lee Jones, his whole performance was just so everywhere and he was just so weird and it was like, okay, yeah. And then, the fact that Jeff Bridges is the only one that can, solve these crimes and then everybody gets blown up because he's the only one that sees that the robot actually has the C4 in it, right? And the explosions and stuff and just how stupid it was. I was just like,
It's really stupid.
It's super stupid.
yeah.
Right.
But I thought it was entertaining and I remembered it. And so, that was kind of like, that's how it made the list.
It is weird that on the show, I think Jackie gave it a do because she gives basically everything a do unless it's got, I don't know. But
Goop.
Yeah, it's got goop or
Then it's a don't.
weird boobs.
Yep.
But
Weird boobs, goop, space, apocalypse.
yeah. Okay. Those are, yep. She's right on that. It's weird that we didn't like it though. It didn't get a unanimous do because it does have a lot of elements that are perfect for this show. Lead actors that are A-listers in a terrible, stupid movie. Stunts. I mean, the last sequence, the car chase, where he's hanging out of the car and climbing on the car and trying to get around while disarming a bomb, should have worked for us. And yet, for some reason, it just didn't for Sam and I.
I will say that I don't think 10's a bad spot for it.
No, I don't argue with her.
I think my disappointment with years of waiting led into because I was chomping at the bit for that one to be streaming kind of a thing. And I remembered it being a lot more fun than it was, I think. And so it may have just been my own disappointment that led to my meh with it, but it's super dumb.
Super stupid. Did we ever cover, like, Tommy Lee Jones escapes prison very easly? He builds a bomb and blasts out of prison.
Yeah.
Could he have done that at any given point in time? Or is he only motivated to leave prison because he sees Jeff Bridges on TV?
He's only motivated to leave prison because he sees Jeff Bridges on TV.
That's so, like, Jeff Bridges just fades off and has nothing to do with bombs. Tommy Lee Jones' character is like, hey, I'm okay. I'm just gonna do prison stuff. I don't have any motivation to leave. 3 meals a day, exercise out in the yard. They let me do horticulture.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like, just take his TV away.
Yeah.
None of this would have happened. Does that make it the idiot plot? No, because a newsman isn't going to know the plot.
Why is the Irish prison showing what's going on in Boston?
No shit, dude. No shit. That's a local TV thing. Like, not even national in America. This cop is good at bombs. Oh, shit, I got to break out of this prison. Fucking dumb. I mean, goddamn.
Coming up next, Judy's got a story on a dog that can sort letters at the post office.
I got to bust out of here. Fighting the Frizzies at 11. Fuck, I hate Frizzies. Let's go. Dumb. Super stupid movie. I don't argue with you, Jackie. It's not on my list either. But I think that it's anybody could put it on their list. It's just Sam and I didn't. So fair pick. My number 9 is also maybe going to be higher on your. I don't know, but it was a surprise to me, even though it shouldn't be. My number 9 was a total surprise to me, even though it shouldn't be, because it's got somebody I like very much in it. I don't know why I'm surprised, but it's a premise that I don't like, and it's a Jackie pick, which I don't like. It was Rockula.
Oh, Rockula also made my list.
I didn't choose Rockula, but I knew it was going to make it on here solely by the star rating that we gave it. I was like, I'm not going to pick this, but I bet everybody else is.
Yeah, I loved Rockula. It shouldn't have been good. Like, I should have hated it. And if anybody doesn't remember Rockula or has never heard of it or didn't listen to the episode, it's Dean Cameron, ski school, summer school. He's the school guy. He's
Men at Work.
He is a vampire who doesn't bite people. He's just a chill, mellow vampire that's trying to live a 80s lifestyle. But he's got a girlfriend who comes back to life every 22 years after being killed by a pirate with a ham bone. Every 22 years, she comes back. He falls in love with her every time. And the vehicle for her to fall in love with him this time is rock and roll. And that is the dumbest premise written down, and like the movie doesn't care. Like, that's what it is, and we are going full steam ahead. Yes, she dies by getting hit in the head with a ham bone from a pirate every 22 years. Just have fun with that.
It's like the filmmakers were they're decent people in the industry. They just get this thing dumped on them, and they're like, this is what we're doing? Let's do it. This is what we're doing, so we're just going to do it. And they do. It's great.
Yeah. It's as 80s as it gets. I would think if we're talking double features, Rockula and Teen Witch a great Sunday, period. Like, if you've never seen both of those, back-to-back Rockula and Teen Witch, you're going to have a good time. Very 80s. The music is incredibly stupid, just like Teen Witch. There's a rap sequence in it that's just god-awful, but not, like, painful to the ears. It's just, God damn, these songs are fucking trash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's music videos in it. Like the one where they get down in the alleyways and where the bums are, and they like have a bum romance together with bum children around them. Like, nothing says romance like children that don't have homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was a little weird.
A little weird. The whole thing is a little weird, Jackie. It's awesome. Thomas Dolby is in it. He's the villain. Thomas goddamn Dolby. She blinded me with science. Tony Basil.
And that apparently Dean Cameron's a fine musician.
Yeah.
Just a damn fine musician.
It's just the songs are stupid. And the lead actress, Tawny I don't know what her name is.
Something like that.
She was fun. Yeah, it's a fucking crazy ass movie that I'd never heard of it before this year, and totally should have. It's cult classic. Like, it's not like Action USA where Sam and I are gonna like it just because of stunt work. But we liked it despite it being shit that we generally hate. Yeah. I mean, if Rocky Horror Picture Show is like the greatest cult classic of all time, fucking Rockula. Somebody should be watching Rockula and talking about it. I guess that's us.
Yeah. I'm glad I found it. It is on my list too, but it's higher up.
Yeah. I loved it. Rockula will stick with me forever. It's just that kind of movie.
And I like that he's a virgin too.
Yeah, right.
And he's been a virgin this entire time. Mm-hmm. Because he's saving himself for the love of his life.
But she keeps dying.
But then she just keeps getting dead.
Yep.
Detonated.
It's never explained why she comes back to life, because she's not a vampire. It's just, don't worry about
reincarnation.
Yeah, don't worry about any of those parts. Just have fun. The movie. Tony Basil is Hey Mickey, you're so fine, lady. She's his mom, or yeah, she's his mom.
Yeah.
Great. Sam.
This is probably only on my list. And this is just strictly by just I remember it very well, must have liked it a lot. Checks a lot of my boxes. And it was the first movie that we did in this year from last year in review is Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity.
Okay. All right. Now, why, with a title like that, why in the hell would you think that you're the only one that's going to choose that movie? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, man?
I don't know. I remember us being conflicted in the podcast.
I don't know about that. I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I was thinking because it's got space and goop that Jackie was out at least.
Right.
Yep.
But
I do remember this one. I was in, and then the goop started happening, and I was like, screw this shit.
Obviously the number one reason is the hot babes man. Yeah.
Yeah, hot babes man.
But the really stupid guns are really stupid guns on a level of a podcast that does really stupid guns that merit mentioning how dumb the guns are, and the action sequence at the end involving the really stupid guns is a real head scratcher.
Right.
But my favorite is probably the robots and monsters of dubious intent, and then the robot pissing match where they just get into these fussy arguments with each other. And it just sidelines the whole movie.
Oh my God.
Like twice. It's great.
It's hilarious. We should also mention that it's probably the most faithful retelling of the Most Dangerous Game that I've ever seen in movies. I mean, like, we could talk about Hard Target, no. Deadly Prey, no. A million other movies that I can't think of right now, but those are the two big ones. And like, it's almost verbatim the book Most Dangerous Game. Everything that happens in that book, castaways. These are spaceship castaways, land on an island, owned by a rich man who hunts humans. And like the way that that's the Most Dangerous Game is revealed is exactly how it happens in Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity. And that's really strange for a space booby movie to be that faithful to classic literature.
Yeah. They really nailed it with that one.
Why write a movie? We got it right here.
Yeah. This is generally our biggest obstacle in a budget feature. Yeah, right. This part's pretty much done.
Let's just get the cans out.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you speak about the robots. Remember when the one goes down to the beach to like distract them with boobs? And they're like, robots, oh. I want to go see the boobs. But Master gave us commands to go do this. Conflicted.
It's like from the scene from Monty Python, only with robots from Holy Grail. They're like, I bet you're gay.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, no, we're both robots.
Yeah.
This should lay well outside of our interests.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, that's a good... it's just great. And very staple-y for this podcast. Like, it checks all the boxes that normally get. And I don't know if Jackie does remember it as much. I don't remember Goop. Can anybody tell me what the Goop was in it?
Well, the monsters were goopy. They were slimy faces.
There's only one monster, and he's in a cave, I thought.
He shows up throughout the thing with... because he's out in the jungle just outside of their lair. Zed's lair. I guess we should mention Zed because Tarantino apparently likes this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it wasn't that I totally hated it or anything, because it was pretty entertaining. I liked the dinner sequences when the guy was like, okay, you guys have eaten now, everybody go to bed. And they're all like, okay.
And again...
And then he has the taxidermy heads on the wall of everybody he's killed. And
they're castaways, but he's treating them as guests, because he plans on hunting them and murdering them. That's fine. But I like that he provides them with sexy wear for dinner. And nobody, like, really balks at it. Like, oh, I'm wearing a sheer nightgown that you can see everything while we have this cake. I appreciate you providing us with these bikinis and lace.
There's also the
That they
scene where
look-
they're like, "Hey, we need to make this convincing that we're just here screwing or whatever." But then it's like, well, that's really convincing because you guys are like having the passion session of all time right now. And then like 10 minutes later, like, bye.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man, that's no surprise to me. I have it higher on my list.
Oh,
Jackie.
My number 9 was Repo Jake, and I think that we already kind of talked about it. I will say that it made my list because the main character is handsome.
You think Dan Haggerty's handsome?
this
I
is
do.
Of course
when
you
we
do.
get to Repo Jake. That was one of the reasons why I put it where it was.
Of
'Cause
course
Jackie
she,
thinks he's handsome.
Of course she does.
Yep.
It shot up the list because of that.
Well,
Yeah, that's why I eked out Blown Away, and got on to number 9 because I was
Dan
like, well, if
Haggerty.
we're going for licks, Dan Haggerty really, was better looking than anybody in Blown Away. And I found him to be charming, even though he was kind of skeezy. Maybe I just like trashy
kind
men.
of skeezy. Jackie, you're a wife. You should hate this guy. He left his dying wife's side to go race cars, and she died while he was racing cars. And his love interest is
in
like,
his-
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, in his defense, it could have been any time, like she was terminally ill.
Sorry, baby.
Could have been in a week.
Yep.
It could have been in 3 days. I mean,
It's just playing the odds.
I don't know.
I can sneak away for
Yeah.
10 hours right now while you die of cancer. It'll be fine. Just take a nap. I'll be back when you're done. And
I don't
she
know
was
when
done.
she's going to die, but I do know that they're dropping the green flag at Talladega on this day.
It was Indy.
Yeah.
He was going to race at
Oh.
the Indy 500, and she died while he was running the qualification. He at least had the moral, I don't know.
I'm kind of with him now. I think I'd take Talladega off, but Indy's, you got to probably race
it's a
that
big
one.
deal.
Yeah, I would have went too. And then after I found out that you were dead, Justin, I would have been like, well, I can't really do anything about it now. I might as well just go ahead and win and then
Yeah, but
dedicate
he
it to my
doesn't.
dead husband.
His tribute to her was then to not race. Like,
That's so dumb.
Fucking Jordan, when his dad died, went out and had one of the best goddamn games of his life. Brett Favre, fucking amazing game when his dad died. And he's like, nope, my wife died. I wasn't there. So now I'm sad. Fuck you, man. You go. Like, the movie should say, I got to skip qualifications because I was that awesome at racing and stayed by my wife's side while she died and I held her hand. Then the next week, I went out and I fucking won Indy 500 in her name, God damn it, because that's the type of man
Yeah.
I am. No? Jackie?
Yeah.
That's not who he is. That's not who Repo Jake is. He's like, yeah, took off, figured I could make it back in time. When I came back, there was flies coming in and out of her mouth. And like, I just said, fuck it with everything and moved to the desert. Built one of those statues on the side of the road people honk at. Then I came here to L.A. to repo because I ran out of money because I spent it all on the last dinosaur I built.
Jesus.
That's the movie. He is a terrible person. And also rad as hell. Repo Jake. Okay. Number 9 from Jackie. That puts me at number 8, which is Action USA. This is my sum up. Stunts, stunts, stunts. The Corvette, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking Corvette at the beginning. Jackie's like,
The
I don't remember this
Corvette.
movie. The fucking Corvette, Jackie. That's all I should have to say. Corvette, and everybody goes Action USA because that thing was amazing.
I do remember this. Okay, I'm looking at pictures now, and I remember the creepy old man that was in the bathtub with the 2 ladies.
Yeah, Cameron Mitchell.
Yeah.
And that Corvette was throwing, 720 horsepower?
Mm-hmm.
Really before those numbers were getting tossed around that
Yeah.
high.
No, it's
like,
an
that's
insane amount.
early for a 7.
That might be a 10-second
100.
car. Like 10
Oh,
seconds
yeah.
is hard.
It's got a wheelie bar.
Yeah.
It's a 10-second car.
Yeah.
It might be a 9-second car.
The our guy, the guy that we think that he's our guy, fucking gets blown away in the first 20 minutes after action sequences, and the greatest utterance of motherfucker ever as he's getting plugged like RoboCop style. So awesome. What else have I got? Oh, the stunts. The stunts, they were good.
The stunts and stunts.
The bar scene we already talked about. Drago, the villain. He's just so silly. The part where the people are having like a picnic outside of the house and a car chase ensues, and they're like, shit, here comes a car. And that car like clips the side of their house, and then the house explodes.
That's right. That was really funny.
They're like, God damn it. We
I
were
also
just having some Millers.
Remembered the female characters just sort of like in for whatever.
Right.
They're like, oh, you're in danger. Your boyfriend got blown away. And she's like, that guy was a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
I just got in because he had a sweet vet that apparently wasn't even his. Ooh, hamburgers. You guys want lunch? I'm hungry.
Yeah. And then she goes from damsel to the reason like the villain is defeated. She locks and loads and rams a truck. Like, dude, Action USA is a badass fucking film. Like, it is top to bottom bitching his fucking shit. I wish more movies were like Action USA. You know, because you see, like, it's got a fairly generic 80s cover. And there's a million movies that look like it. It's got a generic badass name after you watch it. But it stands out from a lot of other 80s action movies because of the insane stunts. And they're not like Hal Needham style stunts. They're not silly. They are fucking dangerous and like work inside of the scene. And like the one where he's on the helicopter. And we had a debate on how he got off of that fucking chopper without getting crushed to death or falling to his doom because he's latched.
They toss him out.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
That's the only way it works.
Yeah. Just fucking crazy.
It's like they watched a movie from the Philippines and were like,
yes.
How much of this do they want?
Yes.
Do we want to try?
Right.
And they're like, I think we can pull off 90% of this. And everybody's like, you're crazy.
What can we get away with without dying or getting in trouble for doing it? Nuts. Huge explosions too. The one where the fucking gas station blows up is too big of an explosion. It's like Beastmaster explosion. Like, dude, too much TNT. Fucking crazy. Great movie. Great goddamn movie. Sam, number 8.
Number 8 for me is Strike Commando 2.
Strike Commando 2 with Brent Huff.
Also known as Trapola Diabolica or Diabolica. Was the actual title of the film, but since it was Bruno Mattei and he knows to just slap numbers on things and they fly off the video shelves, it came out here as Strike Commando 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Strike Commando 2, for me, does something that most films won't do, and that's kick one Reb Brown off this list. Because had we not done Strike Commando 2, Strike Commando 1 probably would have ended up in that 10 spot.
Mm-hmm.
But Brett Huff has the staying power in Stinker Madness. He's officially outdone Reb Brown in that character of action guy that you're scratching your head on.
Brent Huff's pretty
this
awesome.
Is our action guy.
Yeah.
Brent Huff is awesome.
He is awesome.
And the movie itself is a lot more fun than Strike Commando 1, even though Strike Commando 1 is super fun. Also, it's Indiana Jones and Rambo 2 just mashed up.
They clone
with ninjas.
With ninjas. The Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark bar scene with even a German guy who comes in and the bar burns down and he's got to get a medallion. There's a fucking medallion. I mean, it's exact clone. And then the truck sequence where the guy is hanging off the front of the truck and then Indy's hanging off the front of the truck. Identical. And they thought,
yes.
Bruno Mattei was like, nobody noticed. It's just a good stunt sequence. Nobody noticed. Like, this is the most famous movie of all time, Bruno Mattei. You can't just do that.
He does that shit all the time.
I know, but it's like, he didn't do it in The Last Shark. Like, the shark comes up and the Italian guy's like, we're going to need a bigger boat. That doesn't happen. Like, this bad. It's egregious.
Yes.
Indiana Jones. I mean, it's not. I always call it Indiana Jones Raiders Lost. It's just called Raiders of the Lost Ark. But fuck, man.
The boat scene is shot to shot from Rambo 2, even with the belt knives.
I get that
like
because
the title
it's a Rambo
of the movie,
clone, but like that's it, he might as well stood on the edge of that boat and had somebody hold him and going, "I am the king of the world." Like, we're not gonna notice.
Yep. What Rambo? What mean expendable? They didn't put that line in, but other than that, it's pretty much the same sequence.
The same, yeah.
Like shot to shot, even. Yeah, the movie could be called Iowa Smith Rambo Shades of the Ninja.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a shitload of ninjas as well. That's the thing that was like, well, I'm going to clone sequences from either of these two movies, but we're just going to jam a bunch of fucking ninjas in here too.
Got to get ninjas. There's a sequence, and it's the reverse. It's again an Indiana Jones homage. Not really. It's just ripping it off.
Copy. He's ripping it off. The man is known as a rip-off artist. If you look up Bruno Mattei, it says Bruno Mattei, known rip-off artist.
There's this ninja, and he's a black ninja, and he jumps on the screen, and he's got a sword. He's all, yeah, and he's doing kicks and flipping his katana around, and Brent Huff comes in behind him, and he's got an M60. Not just a pistol, a fucking M60, and just starts mowing dudes down. Shoots this guy in the fucking back. Not like, I'm too tired for this shit. I'm just, He's just in murder, blood rage. Dude. Strike Commando 2 is awesome.
And then when the gal gets like kidnapped, she unkidnaps herself by murdering the shit out of her captor, and
She's
then like
too.
busts out of the tent, grabs AK-47 and just starts screaming with bloodlust like, ah!
Yes. And the guns are too big. I love it when like they cast tiny actresses because you're skinny, you're hot, whatever that logic is. But then they give them way too big of guns, like they're struggling to hold on to it because they're skinny people, and it's like vibrating their whole body. It's hilarious. Yes. And they're still trying to act, and they can't because they're just getting shaken to death by this mega gun.
She could actually just be screaming because she's trying to hold on to it.
Like flies backwards through the air by the recoil. Just pins herself against a tree. Ow! That's great. Too big of guns. Too big of guns in the 80s. And that's Strike Commando 2. They should have called it Too Big of Guns.
Yes.
Strike Commando 2, I mean. All right, Jackie, you're number 8.
Don't laugh at me.
We know this is your MO. You pick weird ones, so we expect it.
The Christmas Consultant.
Okay, all right.
I put that on my list. No qualms with you picking
I have
that.
no qualms with that.
I mean, it was just such a good feel-good movie, and I just love the Knight Rider, so it was like, oh, childhood nostalgia. If this guy was my dad, right?
This guy.
And he came to my house and...
Man, you are out of it, because this guy is like one of the most famous people who've ever lived, Jackie. He stood on the goddamn Berlin Wall and freed Europe. Solo. David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff, yes. I'm sorry. I am a little brain dead today.
He also laid on the floor and exploded a Whopper.
Yeah, nobody else could do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was entertained, and it was just such a good feel-good movie, and I loved when he took them all Christmas caroling, and then he starts competing with the opposite, the other neighborhood carolers, and he's got like the boom mic, and it was a little corny at the end, but I don't know, it just gave me the warm and fuzzies, and it stuck with me, and so that's why it made my number 8.
So I've got a question for you guys, because we all surprising lightly liked The Christmas Consultant. We were surprised by how much we liked it, and we also all super liked Santa Summer House.
Yes.
We talked about this briefly, like we hinted at it on the episode of Riding the Bus with My Sister, and these Hallmark fucking movies, they're just all the same. But are the people that are watching these Christmas Hallmark movies, are they in on the joke? Like, do they realize that the movies stink? Like we realize the movies stink and still like them and still make us feel good about like Christmas and the characters that are on screen? Are they in on it? And like they're not brave enough people to be like, oh, well, turns out I like shitty movies, so I'm going to watch movies with like a bunch of misogyny and guns that are huge and like exploitation films and Action USA and The Room. Like, I'm not ready. They're not ready to do that. But are they fans of shitty movies and they know it?
I think we talked about this a little bit when we did this movie, is that a large part of these films is being able to have a quantity of background noise during family get-togethers during Christmas.
Sure.
That you put this on because there's going to be like Uncle Frank or me. I'm this guy usually.
Your Uncle Sam.
Gets into the recliner while other people are trying to like help, even though there's not enough fucking room to help. I'm not being that much of an asshole, right? I helped with what I could help with. Now it's a bunch of busybodies Christmasing the shit out of each other. I just want to sit down.
Okay.
But if you sit down and watch the football, you're going to be accused of being an asshole.
True.
So it's like a family barter that like during this whole day, we're going to have this crap on the TV that nobody's going to watch. And if you want to sit your ass down and be a lazy asshole, you got to pretend to watch this shit. So it's just sort of like you're paying your penance by watching a Lifetime movie just so you can fucking sit down for a couple hours.
But the joke's on you because I like those kind of movies, apparently.
Sure.
Well, I apparently do too. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. Like, I wouldn't watch Hallmark or Lifetime just cause I like shitty movies. Like that. That's not my fuel. I want to see Action USA and those exploitation movies that I talked about earlier because I find them fascinating. But when it comes Christmas time, ding, ding, dong, dong, doom, doom, I kind of want to watch these movies.
Yeah.
Like,
this one I thought is like hands down all the shit that we do on these. Like, I really had a lot of fun. This is my favorite of the horse shit Christmas movies by far.
well, I believe in Santa Claus will always be number one for me. But I will say we have toured. Like last Christmas, we were all concerned because we've done all of the classic bad Christmas movies. Santa with Muscles. I believe in Santa Claus, as mentioned. We're never touching fucking Santa Claus versus the Martians or the Santa Christmas Bunny thing. So we were like scraping the bottom of the barrel. I did Elfman because I was just like, God damn, I have hope again because of Jackie's pick that we've just unlocked a whole way to just keep the Christmas movies coming. Because if they're like this, I'm great with it.
This was Sam's
Fuck
pick.
me, whatever, whoever. It's a great movie.
Well, it's your pick right now.
Yeah.
But not, it was my pick for then because if we recall, I was trying to find a Hallmark movie that was rated as the worst, even though they're all about the same, and they're locked behind a giant paywall.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pay a lot of money to have that horse shit on your TV during Christmas. So we did a Lifetime because Lifetime's like, whatever, you can just watch these.
Yeah. Well, now we've got
but
more
I
fuel.
think it's great because now we can turn an analytic eye to this just volume-esque factory of shit. The Christmas movies.
Yeah.
There's a billion of them now.
Yes. I'm happy about that. So great work. It's a good pick, Jackie. No, it's not weird at all. Number 7 from me is Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity. The title. That's it. I mean, and it doesn't disappoint. It's got that title. I may have talked about this on the show before. One of the very first shitty adult movies that Sam and I ever rented at the Hastings point in time was a movie called Vampire Vixens from Venus. Great fucking title. Did it have any of those elements in it? No, it did not.
It sucked.
It sucked ass, and we hated it. And so, like, those, you could be scared off by those titles because it's like, there's no way it's going to be like that. But this and Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama are just fucking great movies that fit the title. Gwendolyn, Queen of the Yuck Yucks, or whatever it is. My synopsis is The Deadliest Game, but in space and with hot chicks guys in helmets who can't see shit, dumb monsters and robots, the resting log.
The resting log.
Come, Wendy, let us take a break on this resting log. And they just circle back to the resting log all the time. I think the final battle takes place on the resting log, right?
It's at least near the resting log.
It's so stupid. And on top of the resting log, she gives the "Life is Cruel" speech. I mean, it's like as whiz-out of writing as you can get. Like, this does not fit in this movie at all. She's like, look around you, Wendy. Life is cruel. It's hard from day one. You guys are in bikinis. Like, you're not the arbiters of telling us the darkness that is life. You know, it's a crushing experience. You're not the ones to convey this message. Booby ladies. It's just, it's funny and it doesn't fit and I love it. And Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity is a great stinker with a great title. And I'm glad it was on this show. Sam, number 7.
Number 7 is the film, in fact, number 8 for me. Normally, that's where I'm thinking we had a strong year because I'm already into stuff where I'm like, every one of these, I'm like, in a normal year, these are all higher. This one should be usually like top 5 in a year, and it's New York Ninja.
Okay.
New York Ninja would usually be a top 5 year-in-review movie, but it only made 7 for me. Yeah. Number 1 reason is that Don Wilson's voiceover is fantastic.
Yeah, it's probably the best he's ever done on this podcast.
Number 2 for me, there's not really an ending or one that makes sense because there wasn't an ending when they made the movie. And number 3, inappropriate ninja mentoring.
Yes. Also getting a kid killed and being like, oh, oops. I guess he's, oh my God damn it. He does nurse the kid back to health, but that kid got shot in the fucking heart, man. He didn't make it.
Yeah. And that every part of their relationship is completely inappropriate. But it's okay because he's ninja mentoring him, I guess? I don't know.
Fishing with his bag exposed.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. That was awkward.
See, Sam's dad is my inappropriate construction mentor because he used to wear these tiny shorts and his bag would come out. The fucking cutoff. So I get it. This does happen.
I also like the lady in the trash can.
Yes.
That was just kind of weird. And then he's going around like praying with his little incense burner, and then the gang tries to get him, right? And he kicks their asses. But then the same gang, like, they're just repeat customers. And then the weird guy that has like the rat tail that he keeps putting in his
fucking
mouth.
Elijah Wood's dad.
Ew. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It was just a good movie.
Yeah,
and they're kidnapping women.
Atomic
and
Man
down in that thing.
Is eclipsed in weirdness by a guy who puts his rat tail in his mouth before he sword fights.
Okay, and he's also just a chauffeur. He's a chauffeur, assassin, bodyguard. He's awesome. I didn't put this in my notes because it's also on my list. Jackie brings up that they're kidnapping women for dubious intent because it seems like it should be sex trafficking, but all they do is like chain them up and once again give them lingerie to hang out in. And like at one point, like the sort of villain, he's a lower henchman, comes in and makes threatening statements, but nothing happens. All like, ooh, the danger is you're just here in a warehouse. It sucks. You don't want to be, but there's worse fates for sure, especially in ninja movies. It's crazy.
The henchmen in general are terrible.
They're fucking terrible.
Yeah.
They fight their boss. Eventually they're like,
yeah,
let's kill our boss. And their boss is like, you guys are fucking stupid. Why did I hire you?
And they would do it. They would fight to the death, but then the ninja shows up and they're like, oh yeah, common enemy.
Yeah. Go get
Let's
him.
get him.
Wait, we were just trying to kill you. No, let's go get the ninja.
It was-
the ninja.
It was also really weird how the head boss had radiation hands.
Mhm.
And so he would hypnotize the women and he'd have sex with them. And they didn't die from his wiener being in them.
Right.
They died because he touched them on the back.
Like forever. And like
Yeah.
the lady just is like, ow, to death. Like, oh, your hands. Ow. Oh, such a weird movie. And okay, well, we'll talk about it a little bit more here in a second. I've got some thoughts. Jackie, you're number 6.
Rollerball.
Okay, wow.
Interesting.
The worst movie we've ever reviewed on
Yep.
this podcast is your number 6.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
liked-
fault her. It's the worst movie we've ever
It's
reviewed.
the worst movie we've ever reviewed.
Yeah, the ending was awesome where everybody dies. And then I liked the costumes and I liked all the sweet cars. And I kind of liked that, you know, when LL Cool J was trying to get away and they're like, well, let's just see if he makes it. And then he makes it. So they shoot him. And it was just kind of bananas. And I don't know, it stuck with me and I liked it.
There are few movies. Well, I mean, there's literally like 4 movies that are, you could argue, are as bad as this movie. This is total IMDb.
One of them I'll
bottom
talk
100.
about in a little bit, so I'm going to save some of this for that.
Okay. But we always think, like, when we go to the theater and we see movies like the China Wall or the Great Wall or the Tornado Heist. And every year we see something in the theater. We haven't done one this year. That we're like, wow, I can't believe they make movies this bad still. But then you go back to Rollerball and you're like, wait a minute, they've never made movies this bad since 2001's Rollerball.
It's at least Hurricane Heist has something that they're giving an audience.
Mm-hmm.
Rollerball has nothing for anyone
No, it is
other than an excuse for the director to wiretap people.
pure garbage. And like the fact that the worst movie we've ever reviewed isn't by Bruno Mattei, isn't by fucking Neil Breen. It's by fucking John Tiernan, who directed goddamn Predator.
Predator.
What the fuck, man? Is The Room a better movie? Not ironic. Like, yes, you can go and like throw the football around in the theater and bring your spoons and all that sort of stuff. Is The Room legitimatately a critically better film
Yes.
than Rollerball?
It's a better movie than Rollerball.
That's insane.
No.
Okay, Jackie disagrees.
At least it knows what it's trying to do, kind of. And Templar Nation is terrible.
Mhm.
It's terrible. Birdemic, Templar Nation, and The Room are 3 of the and of course Fateful Findings are just terrible. But they at least accomplish goals that they set out to achieve.
Yeah.
Which Rollerball does not.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think about like the bullshit art that we don't like. I don't think any of us here, the squares, cubism, where it's just a canvas and the whole canvas is painted one shade of blue. Like, well, you're supposed to feel the colors. It's blue. I see blue. I feel like that painting is blue. That's what it makes me feel like. That is what I think The Room and all of Neil Breen's catalog is like, look, I'll be honest, I'm not good at art at all, but I had a fucking vision. And
Yes.
This is what you get is a canvas of blue. I don't care if you like it, but Rollerball is like it's a Jackson Pollock that sucks. That he spent
It's
20
worse.
minutes on instead of 5 years and a huge
I would
canvas
say-
floor.
In terms of a direct comparison to art, the closest I could come would be Piss Jesus.
Piss Jesus.
But it's like that Piss Jesus accidentally got dropped in a hole before it made it to the art gallery, and there's just this blank pedestal empty, and they're like, what happened to Piss Jesus? And the guy was like, I dropped.
Yes, totally. Why can't we see it? Because I dropped it. I mean, and that's what the fucking night vision
in
scene.
a deep hole.
It's 20 minutes of a scene that they filmed and couldn't fucking use.
They did it twice and still couldn't use
Did
it.
it twice. It sucks. Oh my God.
Piss Jesus got dropped in the sewer.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Jackie. This is the worst movie we've ever reviewed. I'm glad that somebody is putting it on the year in review because, again, it's like, should you watch it? Probably. Am I going to like it? Never.
Yeah. It deserves... I found strange ways to talk about it later because I was like, we have to at least mention this because it's so bad.
Yeah. So, again, you got a good
job.
year in review list, Jackie.
Good job.
This is more solid than usual so far.
Thank you.
All right, number 5 for me is Strike Commando.
Number 6?
Oh, shit. God damn it. I spoiled. Damn it. Okay, number 6 is also New York Ninja, Sam.
Okay.
I loved it. The freeze frames, we didn't mention. Lots and lots of freeze frames. Anytime you have freeze frames in an 80s movie, I'm good with it. Especially inappropriate freeze frames where you're like thinking about getting vengeance for your wife and you jump up in the air and it's a freeze frame. That's not the time for a freeze frame, bro. But I like it.
No.
The sad birthday. It's Johnny's because of course his name is Johnny, but his wife's dead and she threw him a party and he just fucking freaks out and like grabs shards of glass and pulls them through his fingers. And he's like, Wendy. I don't know why everybody's named Wendy today. Blood's like all over the place. It's just, and he's wiping it on like things that he's probably going to want to keep later, like keepsakes to remember my wife. Here's a picture of us on our wedding day. Blood all over. Oh, she bought me these katanas. Blood everywhere. Oh, I'll just use them on my hands. That's how katanas work. The music by Voyager, that's what I was alluding to. That fucking score is goddamn amazing. During the podcast, we compared New York Ninja to that fucking piece of shit 20-minute movie that people paid $20 million for or whatever on God, I can't remember what that fucking website's called. The crowdfunding.
GoFundMe or...
Yeah, the other
Kickstart?
one.
Kickstart.
Yeah, that we watched. Turbo Cop. No, it wasn't Turbo Cop. It was 80s.
Miami...
I don't know. But it's...
something.
Yeah, it sucked so fucking hard, but like wanted to have this music, and Voyager fucking kills it in it. It's so awesome. Yeah. Michael Berryman's in it as the supervillain. It's a fucking ninja movie with a supervillain. He's got superpowers. He's not just equipped with weapons or is a ninja, therefore has superpowers. This is a non-ninja based supervillain in a ninja movie that is very unique. Linnea Quigley is in it. Cynthia Rothrock's in it. And the fact that it even exists is worth the price to see this movie because it should not exist. It should be on a shelf somewhere, buried under a bunch of stuff that nobody would ever saw it until the film rots. But we got it, and it's awesome. New York Ninja. Jackie. Sam, sorry.
My number 6?
Mm-hmm.
Repo Jake.
Repo Jake.
Repo Jake is so fucking dumb that it shot up this list. It's so dumb that it's the first thing when I'm scrolling through this year and where I'm going to rate things, I'm like, oh yeah, Repo Jake has to be on here. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's solidly in the middle because it's the first thing that jumped out and grabbed me because I was like, man, that thing was dumb. Two things I haven't mentioned yet about how dumb it is. We're on a podcast. We've reviewed over 500 movies.
Way more than that, dude.
Most of them have terrible music.
Uh-huh.
The music in this is terrible in a strange and special way that deserves mention for how terrible the music is. It's god-awful.
It's real bad. And
it's so bad.
Inappropriate. It's inappropriate music. Like, it doesn't fit.
How does it jump ahead of New York Ninja? Because Jackie thinks he's handsome.
Oh, that's it. It was a tie.
It's the tiebreaker. He wears the same clothes the entire
Every
movie.
fucking
He doesn't
day.
bathe. He doesn't bathe.
Yeah, it's probably true. Probably has some nice man smell going.
Oh, God damn it.
Pheromones.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep, and I'm just following him around the grocery store going, oh, God. Breathe it
That is a
in.
bad
He
smell.
doesn't go to the grocery
No, fuck, he
store.
goes to the fucking dumpster. Dirt.
Okay, I'm following him around the gas station.
He doesn't
There you
even.
go.
Yeah, I guess he might. But Repo Jake is the type of guy that will take your car for non-payment, say that you need to do better in life, and then eat your fucking half-eaten cheeseburger
Yes.
that was in your car. He's lectured you about responsibility, and he's eating your lunch.
They're like, hey, Repo
Literally.
Jake, do you have Taco Bell on your shirt that you haven't changed in a month? And his response is, that's not my Taco Bell.
Repoed that Taco Bell too. I think Repo Jake is the first film thus far that all three of us have put on our year-end review. So
Yes.
probably should be
Repo
done.
Jake is officially like, after this podcast, stop what you're doing and watch it.
Yeah, these are all stop what you're doing and watch it. But Repo Jake is checking a lot of boxes for a lot of people right here. Now it's number 5 for me, right?
Jackie's
No, now
next.
it's number 6 for me.
Oh, I thought you just did Repo Jake. Sam did Repo Jake. Okay,
I did Repo Jake
damn it.
at 6. She did Repo Jake at 7.
gotcha.
Yeah. No, I did Repo Jake at 9.
9.
Okay, right, Jackie.
But my next one for number 6 is Double Trouble.
Fuck yeah. Higher for
David
me.
and Peter Jade.
Paul. Paul. Their
Paul.
last name is Paul.
Paul.
The Barbarian
Oh.
Brothers.
Yep.
You know, have you guys seen that State Farm or maybe it's a State Farm? Yeah, because you say the thing and then the State Farm agents show up or a celebrity shows up. And I can't remember their fucking name. And I watched a lot of basketball, but it's the basketball guys. One of them.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, they play. He plays for Miami, I think. And every time I see that commercial, all I could think of is fucking David and Peter Paul going, like, because they're fighting over the basketball. Give me that basketball. They're just total douchebags who are brothers. And I'm like, I miss those fucking big old barbarian buttholes because they are funny as shit.
They're funny. And it's weird because they should just be douchebags, but they
Totally.
realize what they are and they make pure comedy out of it.
Mhm.
It's hilarious. When he just puts a mouthful of whey protein in his mouth and then spits it out surprised like it wasn't good to do that. My God, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence that well, maybe it is a coincidence, but not in my mind, that another movie called Double Trouble is also, I guess it's got double in the title, so it's going to have 2 guys, but Bud Spencer and the other one, damn it,
Terrence Hill.
Terrence Hill. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that they're similar films and similar type of comedy, but I am saying that for Double Trouble. Jackie, I mean, you picked it. You got to share some of your own thoughts.
Well, it was just kind of interesting to me, right? Because the one is all straight shot and he cannot find a shirt that will cover his midriff throughout most of the movie, right? As the cop that he is. And then his sassy lady partner, right?
Mhm.
And then he has to, team up with his brother, who is this cat burglar. And I don't know if he's a good cat burglar because he seems to get caught a lot.
True.
He's getting
And
caught
then-
on purpose by his brother so he can hang out with him.
That's true.
It's ridiculous.
That's
And
true.
also, like-
and then
He's a cat burglar. That's elevation right there.
Yeah.
Having a cat burglar in your movie is
Always
going
like
to
it.
shoot you up the
Always
Stinker
like
Madness
it.
list.
Yep. Always like it.
yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed the banner, and I enjoyed just their chemistry on set is just amazing.
They know what their movie is, and they are leaning into that. And it's surprising that 2 meatheads have that, like, awareness of their surroundings instead of just like, what do you want me to do? You know, or they don't like this. Well, this movie's going to make fun of you too as being meatheads. I'm not doing that. I'm a buff guy. You know, like it just goes in cliche or anti-cliche of what you would expect from the Barbarian Brothers in a comedy movie. And surprisingly, it doesn't fail. It actually fucking works.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great when the cat burglar brother is in this really, fancy place that he lives in, right? And that his girlfriend, he's holding his arms up and his girlfriend is doing a handstand on his hands.
Yes.
And that's sexy time.
Yes.
And I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yes. I think that, like, there could have been a wide audience for this movie, but I just think that, like, I don't know if it's a stinker. I think people just don't get it. Like, maybe you didn't get this type of buddy comedy.
It is terrible at the same time.
It is.
I mean, they're awesome, but it's a terrible movie.
I just think that, like, there's room here for a lot
there was room for more
people to enjoy this. Because we do the running scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, and you're like, fuck off. I'll watch Double Trouble.
I'm going to save a little bit for when I pick it later.
Okay. I also pick it later, so now we know that there's 3. Number 5 for me is Strike Commando 1.
1?
Yeah, dude.
This is weird.
You can't turn your back on Rebby Brown.
This is weird because when we did this, you liked 2 better than I liked 2, and I liked 1 better than you liked 1. But in retrospect, we've flip-flopped.
You can't always bet on Rebby Brown. Always bet on him. He's awesome,
can't disagree.
Dude. He's fucking awesome in a terrible, stinky way. It's Bruno Mattei again. That's a combo that just is always going to work. The endless screaming that he does throughout the movie, and it's not like pain screaming. I mean, there is some torture, but like just the gun stuff, like just all the time. You get tired of it eventually, wouldn't you, Reb Brown? No, man, I got bloodlust. And he's always grunting. There's so much grunting and screaming. It's a combo. I mean, just like the worst lack of dialogue. Just make noises, okay? Said Bruno Mattei, and you get Reb Brown just making noises throughout it's hilarious. Booby traps all over the place that he sets. And then the headbutt to end all headbutts is enough for anybody to see this movie. It is the dumbest headbutt that's ever existed, ever. They're dumb. Headbutts are stupid. We all know it. You're using your head to hit someone else's head. Yes, I know you're in like real fights. You're supposed to hit them in the nose and break their nose with your thicker skull. It's the weakest point. But everybody just in film, they hit each other's heads together. It is stupid.
They bonk.
And this one is the best ever. It's so dumb. I love it. And cut it out. Hey, cut it out.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it. Stop it, guys who are trying to murder me, said Reb Brown. Hilarious. I love both of them, but I think you got I got to go with Rebby every time.
Okay.
So
can't fault you.
Sam, you're number 5.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did like the ending on that too, where you think that the movie's over, and then the guy comes from the roof and gets him with the choke thing, right?
True. It's a great ending.
After you think he's killed everybody.
Yep.
I don't know. I liked that movie too.
Strike Commando
it was
rules.
entertaining.
Both of them rule. Sam, number 5.
We'll be talking about Rollerball in a second, because number 5 for me is Highlander 2.
Okay.
Which should be the worst movie that we've ever done. It should be, but it's not. When we did the episode, we talk about this laundry list of like how this is the most epic disaster in filmmaking that has ever happened. And then John McTiernan's like, hold my fucking beer.
Right.
Wiretaps.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible. The street bang is the most awkward and unrelated scene that we've done on the podcast. It's just like, let's just bang in the street person I met.
It was Roadhouse up until that, but beats the shit out of the sex scene in Roadhouse. Beats
And I think it maybe
the Dolph Lundgren, Bad Times in Fairmont City. What's the Big Trouble in not Big Trouble? Jesus Christ! That's you got the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
yeah, Little Tokyo.
Yeah, Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Very bad sex scene. They're both eclipsed by fucking Highlander 2. It is the worst sex scene.
It is also part of my list.
Might have
So
made mine too.
And it's not as bad as Rollerball.
It's not as bad as Rollerball. In fact, I think it's
It's like not
fucking
even in the
awesome.
same ballpark. This is a consensus. Film critics everywhere widely regard this as one of the worst movies ever made, if not the worst movie ever made. We've cataloged hundreds of them, and all three of us are decidedly like the worst big budget movie that has ever made it into a theater is Rollerball, and it's a light year past Highlander 2.
very much so. Very much so.
yes.
Okay. Is that where we're at? Ready to...
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny because Highlander 2 is also my number 5.
Oh, I love it when that happens.
Yeah, so you know, we can just skip it. I will say that we did not mention the Birdman guy.
The flying...
You know, when they were on the skateboard.
Flying Porcupine Bros.
They
Oh,
were chasing-
God.
Yeah. That guy was fucking ridiculous.
Those guys. There was two of them, Jackie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
true.
not
There were two of
just
them.
that there's one. And that sequence, like, is so reminiscent of Tim Burton's Batman. Like, if Tim Burton could do it, we could do it too. We'll just put these flying porcupine bros flying through like a Gotham-esque sequence, and everybody will eat it up. And you're like, wait, this is a fucking Highlander movie? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also like that he started out as old, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like the savior of the world, but he kind of screwed everybody over.
Uh-huh. Until he gets quickened, and then he's like,
Yeah.
Highlander, whatever the theme song is, the Queen did. Help me out. Anybody? Who wants to live
Princes
forever?
of the Universe.
Yeah, Princes of the Universe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 4 is, sadly, it's not Highlander 2, because that would have been very convenient. My number 4 is Extraterrestrial Visitors, or AKA The Pod People, a classic Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode that I absolutely love, because every year should have a Monster Bud on your fucking list, and Trumpy is the king of Monster Buds. Trumpy is number 1 in Monster Bud land.
Trumpy is number 1 in Monster Budland, and he sucks.
He's the worst.
He stinks.
Yeah.
Mac and me can suck a fucking dick. Or Mac, I guess. He can suck it.
And
Trumpy
goes back to
is amazing.
how strong this year was, because Trumpy's like number 11 for me. It was the first one that didn't make the cut, and I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
how does an MST3K movie not to make the cut on this? It's crazy.
Literally is an inspiration for this film, or for this podcast. Our old theme song had Rick saying, "It stinks" at the end of it, because Rick is even aware that he sucks and his music sucks and everything sucks, and he sticks out his freaking okay sign and says, "It stinks." Because Idiot Control Now is a terrible fucking song. And then you follow Rick throughout the film, and he's just a total D-bag. While Trumpy has unlimited superpowers, he's got the Q continuum superpowers. He's a little shitty turd that has the powers of the Beyonder. He can do anything, and he chooses to fuck with this kid's room and entertain him like, "Oh, Trumpy, you're making my robots fly around. Go home, Trumpy."
He's shittier than Munchie. He's just quieter.
Yeah, that's the thing. Munchie's fucking annoying, whereas Trumpy is just like, what the hell? You're baffling.
Like, he can do all this stuff, and he can bring the kid back to life at the end, but he can't get him out of a wheelchair.
Yeah, and
Like, how shit is that?
the villains, their backstory is that they poach nightingale eggs for the black market?
We had to look that up. Like, that's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Nightingale. These guys are hardcore criminals. If they get their hands on Trumpy, it's all over. Because he's just a little shitty ET, right? The kid loves him and he's his best friend. You got to protect Trumpy. These guys, they're nightingale egg poachers. I don't think that they're a threat.
No.
And the fact that the movie ends with Trumpy just still out there. He's just still out in the woods with his Q continuum powers. There's no such thing as Bigfoot. There's no such thing as the Loch Ness Monster. There's no such thing as the Skunk Ape or the Jersey Devil. It's all just Trumpy making you see what he wants you to believe. The truth is out there, Sam. So is fucking Trumpy.
And it stinks.
It stinks. I love Extraterrestrial Visitors. This will be a film that will stick with me forever. It's like the 10th time I've seen it. And
I've seen it like 10 times too.
Yeah. And
maybe fatigue had part of my decision.
I want my son to see it. It's a great, there's no barrier to entry in it. It's almost like the Ice Pirates. Ice Pirates is a way cooler fucking movie, right? But you can get people on board with stinkers via Trumpy because there's so much fucking material to discuss. What the fuck is even happening in this movie?
Yeah.
What is the point? It's just amazing. I love Extraterrestrial Visitors. I wish it had a better title. Totally. But I get it. E.T., you're trying to knock it off Mexico or Spain, wherever this was done. I wish it was just called Trumpy. Sam, number 4.
Number 4 for me is Double Trouble.
Oh.
Barbarian Brothers have top 5 staying power for me. Apparently, every time they show up, they're in the top 5.
Not enough of them. We're out. We're almost out.
The thing that happens with the first Barbarian, they get that movie deal, and we kind of alluded to this, but basically they actually have a viable comedy product that they push, and they did it. We talked about on the podcast that they had these. They would show up at these events and they'd do their weightlifting show and people would fucking go crazy. They loved it. Right. It was hilarious. Smelling each other's shoes and just being jackasses. Mm-hmm. And in Double Trouble, what you have in the first movies, The Barbarians, they're just jamming these guys into a movie and only a little bit of them makes it out. But in Double Trouble, what you're actually getting is the movie's kind of making itself because the Barbarian Brothers product is actually what makes it onto screen, and it's awesome.
Yeah. That's a good point. Good point. They're like the Groundlings, but smell bad.
And we didn't even mention that it's got Bill Mummy and Roddy McDowall in it.
I'm not there yet. Jackie, number 4.
Rockula.
Rockula's there. That's a high pick. Okay.
Yep.
Why so high for you?
He just had good hair.
Dean Cameron's hair.
And I thought it was, Dean Cameron's hair. And, I really thought that it was kind of funny and stupid at the same time that he was a virgin for, hundreds of years. And that, he was just waiting for this one chick for his whole life, which was kind of sad and pathetic. You know what? Yeah, that's why I liked it. Because the man was the sad and pathetic one. Instead of the lady being all like, I waited for you. And he's like, I banged 10 hookers on my way here.
Yeah. Which is why it works great with Teen Witch. Because it's they're the opposite, but the same movie. And don't forget, we can't mention that Ralphie, when he turns into a bat, is the worst. It's just the worst. Oh, God,
that was so funny.
It's hilarious. He's just such a... He's he looks shittier than Trumpy, almost. Almost. Nobody looks shittier than Trumpy.
So crappy that it becomes funny again because it made it 40 feet past stupid and now it's funny again because you're like, oh, that sucks, but then you just start laughing maniacally because of how much it sucks.
Yeah, don't turn into a bat, Ralphie.
The relationship dynamic between his mom and him is pretty fun too.
Yeah, because she's all sexy and he's just this knob, but he fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Rockula's a great movie. My number 3 is Highlander 2, The Quickening. What the hell is this movie even about?
It's about him getting young again because some dipshit was like, we're going to send some guys to get him and then we'll kill this son of a bitch. But what they forget is that it will make him young and strong again. And so they're like, oh, didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Shit, send the Porcupine Brothers. And then he's
I
like,
think-
never mind, I'll do it myself.
I think the movie is about getting people to stop using hairspray for the ozone layer.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Because Michael Ironside, we haven't mentioned him.
Yeah.
That whole fucking crazy shit on the fucking train is nuts. Like, he is at a 12. And Michael Ironside is, like, he's distinctive, but I would still consider him composed. He's not, I don't think he's a scenery chewer like Nicolas Cage. He's pretty almost monotone in his acting until he's on this fucking train and Michael Ironside is leaning into being like, cocaine, baby. Yeah. And there's fucking children flying through the air. It's hilarious. All for no reason, all for no point other than have this sequence. It's just insane. And then Sean Connery Ramirez returning to life by the power of love. Even
Question
Brohood.
mark?
yeah, even though we know the one rule about the immortals is if they get their head lopped off, that's it. They're fucking done. But then he comes back because Connor McLeod's like, I love you, Ramirez. You're my best bro. That's all I fucking needed to say or to come back to life. Wait, the rules of immortals are bullshit.
Well, they are more than that. They got like
Technically-
man married at the beginning.
Right?
Yeah, and I mean, technically, he was just screaming at the right time. There was a falling star, so technically the star got confused and was like, I think that's a wish, people.
Huh.
And then he came back to life.
Yeah.
That's what
I don't know,
happened.
man. It seems like there's no rules when it comes to immortals. And we gotta keep going with these. We gotta do 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to. The difference between
Again, you're up. Jackie took 1. I took 2. You're up on 3.
I'll do it.
I think 3 and 4 are streaming
I'll
right
get
now.
there.
So
I'll do it. Fine. The difference between this and Rollerball is, yeah, this sucks. It's terrible. I fucking love this movie. I have so much fucking love with Highlander 2. It's just fun and stupid, whereas Rollerball is not fun and it's just stupid. So that's my beef. But that will be the end of Highlander 2. Sam, number 3.
number 3 for me is Highlander 1.
Woo, woo.
Nice.
That's my number 3 too.
Okay.
Because guess what, folks? It really is bad.
It is super stupid.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And
I love when he goes to his village and they're like, he's a witch. Let's kill him. But he's a Highlander now, so he can't die.
Well, he's not. He was a
And
Highlander to begin with, Jackie, because he's from Scotland. He was always a Highlander. Now they found out he's an immortal. That's the difference.
oh.
Yeah.
But the sort of awesome scene that everyone remembers is the garage sword fight. But when held under a microscope, it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a long way off from the elevator sequence in The Matrix.
Yeah. The bad animation at the end, even retouched, is
Fucking
bad.
terrible. Yeah.
It's just not good. And I love it. I've seen it 10, 15 times, something like that. When people think it's good, and that's why it's so high, because you just like it that much. It sucks. It's not a good movie.
No.
Yay, Highlander.
Yay, Highlander.
Yeah, and you super don't care because you're just entertained as fuck. It kind of doesn't make sense sometimes, but you're like,
Sometimes.
you know what? I don't care. And then Sean Connery's character shows up, and you're like, yeah, he's pretty Don Quixote. All right, I can get down with that. And then, you know, the fact that the Highlander was kind of a fucking idiot when he
He's
first
a
starts
wanker.
out, and then he becomes, yeah, he's bottom of the food chain, you know, like whatever. And then, you know, he comes into his own, and you're like, okay, maybe he's not such a wanker. He could fight now, so
No, he's still a wanker.
that's good. After his girlfriend gets raped, you know, by weird guy.
Yeah, it's
And then he has a German daughter at the end that is now his secretary. That's what I think happened right there.
So weird. So weird.
It was
the
very
Clancy
Indiana Jones-esque.
Clancy Brown is on 11 through the whole movie.
Yep. Sorry, Michael Ironsides.
Awesome.
Clancy Brown will. It's like Red Brown and Brent Huff for me, Sam. Clancy Brown, Clancy Brown, Clancy Brown. Every time.
And the confusion surrounding the film, like people are like, "Oh, I love Highlander. Those Highlanders over there, and this Highlander fights another Highlander." And you're like, "No, that's not even what happened. There's only one Highlander. They're immortals. Did you even watch the movie that you claim to love?"
My neighbor. So I have Highlander on Laserdisc, and it's mounted on my wall next to our other movies. It's just a display. I don't have a Laserdisc. And are you kidding me? I'd never watched Highlander. Just kidding.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Jackie bought it for me. My neighbor comes over all the time and is like, "Now I see you've got Highlander. That's a pretty good movie, but the rest of them are really stupid, right?" And I'm like, "No, they're all stupid. This Highlander stinks. Like, I can't convince the guy that it stinks because he hasn't watched it since he was 16 years old, right? And Highlander's awesome when you're 16. Oh, that's a good movie. No, it's not. It's fucking stupid as hell."
It's actually, I think when you're 16, it's dubiously confusing because you're like, "But it's awesome, right?"
Right? Can't be convinced. We'll just never win that fight. Okay. Jackie, number 3. Highlander.
I already said it was Highlander.
Okay. All right. Number
Why don't you have another beer there, our hostess?
Number 2.
Mostess.
Number 2 for me is Double Trouble. Made it.
Oh, wow, that's high.
Made it all the way up to number 2. Are you fucking kidding me? It's insane. David Carradine is in it again for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Roddy McDowell, James Doohan, Scotty. We got to mention Scotty.
Oh, yeah, Scotty.
And Whitney. I don't care. It's Colin Bernstein. But Whitney, the cop, the FBI cop that they're like.
Oh, God, that guy's awesome.
God, shut up, Whitney. I fucking love Whitney. The thing about Double Trouble for me is it's Hall of Fame stuff. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's. I haven't analyzed the Hall of Fame in a while, but Double Trouble might be in the Hall of Fame. It is fucking awesome, awesome bad movie.
Yeah, the more that we talk about it, the more I'm like, I kind of want to go watch that after this.
Hell yeah. Sam, number 2.
Number 2 for me is Tammy and the T-Rex.
Okay, Tammy and the T-Rex.
Tammy and the T-Rex, and why is because words cannot adequately describe this film. You just have to watch it. It doesn't, like, if I could read you a paragraph about this movie and it wouldn't make any sense. You just have to watch it and go, okay, well, that happened. Huh. And then it was shelved forever and it just came out sort of like, not as long as, say, New York Ninja, but it's a crazy movie.
It's fucking bonkers.
And the sheriff-son relationship is really interesting, too. It's fun.
Yep. That's all you're going to say about it? Number 2?
Words cannot adequately describe this movie is the best I can do on this.
Okay, all right, damn it.
It's a fucking dinosaur.
That sucks, man.
The dinosaur flips somebody off at one point.
Yeah, he fucking flips somebody off with his tiny little arm. It's awesome.
Okay, yeah, I'm totally remembering this now. This is the one with
Denise Richards
Paul
and
Walker.
Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And Paul Walker gets beat to death, and then he turns into a dinosaur.
Yeah, the
right?
evil scientist can only
Like,
use
they
his
take his
brain
brain.
for one thing. Dinosaur.
To put into a dinosaur.
First, it's a security dinosaur. Like, this is a weapon. They're weaponizing a robot dinosaur, and they need a brain for it. And this guy's fresh. Yet he's still Paul Walker. And fucking Denise Richards is still in love with him. Even though he's a goddamn T-Rex.
I personally like when the T-Rex uses the telephone in that movie. Because he's like trying to dig for change. Do you guys remember that? He's sticking his finger in the change saying like, did my dime come back out? Like, what does the dinosaur do with the dime?
Tammy.
Like, where are you going to put that?
Oh my God, it's fucking bananas. It is so bananas.
Oh, I like that movie too.
Okay, well, Sam doesn't have words for it, so Jackie, you're number 2.
Okay, so my number 1 and my number 2 are really close. So I went with Vamps for number 2.
Oh, God. Okay.
I just thought it was cute, and then she gets old at the end, and
Alicia Silverstone and Christian Ritter.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thought, and like the fact that they're, like eternally like in the mindset of a teenage, 20 something, early 20s, late teenage, mindset, right? Where they're always trying to like keep up with the latest fashion, and they got cell phones, and they're talking during the day to their day friends, and they're trying to live this like normal life, right? But they've been alive for like hundreds of years, but they're still in that teenage mindset. I just thought that was really funny. And then like they're always trying to like updo their fashion, and then they have that, I don't know. I was highly entertained. I thought it was funny. I thought Alicia Silverstone, I hadn't really seen her in anything other than the one with Brandon Fraser.
Oh my God.
Where he's underneath the ground, right? And he comes up after the world explosion.
That's a fun one. I
that
can't
one?
even remember the name of that movie.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Yeah, and then the
Clueless, obviously.
Clueless, yeah. And so that I can't really think of anything else that she's been in.
Well,
And
her
so I'm
we all
like,
know her famous performance was Batman and Robin, Jackie.
Yeah, and Aerosmith music videos.
And Aerosmith music videos.
True, guys.
Oscar-worthy performances.
I left this off my list intentionally because I feel that my nethers would have been doing the voting.
Ooh, oh my.
And it would have been number one.
Oh my.
It's like we watch all these booby movies or whatever, but then these like Valley Girl wholesome vampires where I'm like, oh, swing, hello.
Awesome.
I mean, I fucking loved it. I just didn't put it on here because I feel like I'm tainted by
biased.
That's why I was mentioning it. By me, I get a restraining order or a no contact order, so I just left it off there.
Yeah. Very strange
I also like-
sexual preference you have there. Wholesome Valley Girl vampires, Sam.
Yeah.
I also like that she's in love with Van Helsing's son, right?
Yeah.
And she spray tans herself so that she'll look more lifelike. And it was just like so funny, like just how awful she looked and how she was just trying so hard to fit in.
All right.
Yeah, this is super fun. It was on my list of ones to pick from, and I just didn't. I was like, I think that my opinion on this is skewed horridly
As is
by my
mine.
love of the movie Clueless and the swing factor that it strangely gave me.
I did not like it, but that's okay that Jackie did. I can't, I don't know. I just don't know why you guys liked it so much, and I didn't. It's me. I'm the problem.
It's
Hello.
Dead in Black Heart.
Yep, dead inside. That brings us to the number ones, and my number one is without a fucking doubt Tammy and the T goddamn Rex. That fucking movie is amazing. My note is all of it.
Uh-huh.
I got nothing. I can't say a bunch of scenes because the whole fucking thing is bonkers bananas from start to fucking finish, and it's just a beautiful, stupid, crazy fucking movie. 100% Hall of Fame. This Double Trouble is like, well, maybe I'm gonna have to replace something, but Tammy and the T-Rex is like,
Yeah.
This shouldn't exist. A movie like this, and yet it does. Like, think of that. I'm not just quoting dinosaur movies, but that Theodore Rex movie with Whoopi Goldberg, fucking terrible. And that's what I like. I went in thinking that Tammy and the T-Rex was going to be the same, like just god awful '90s dinosaur obsession that we all had. It's like '80s ninjas. The '90s were all dinosaurs. Thanks Spielberg, Jesus asshole. And this like subverted all of those expectations because it is a love story about a robot T-Rex and Denise Richards, who's like gorgeous, right? Like she doesn't make sense gorgeous at this point in time. And it's a T-Rex. Like, how did this movie happen? And the fact that it's my favorite people of all time, Paul Walker, in it, it's just like all of it. Like, that's my note. All of it. I love all of it. Tammy and
All
the
of it.
T-Rex is so fucking great. Number one, without a fucking doubt. Beautiful movie. Sam.
I think my number one's going to come out of left field then. Mine is Deep Rising. That we've watched over and over again, and I fucking love. But when we did it for the podcast, I realized that Deep Rising does something that's very rare indeed. And it checks all of those boxes that you can check for your brainless Hollywood blockbuster movie, yet also all of those boxes that you'd check for a Stinker Madness movie.
Yeah.
And it does all of that so perfectly, and it's just a great time. And it's now finally... I've always been trying to figure out what do I pair with The Phantom with Billy Zane for a double feature. Yeah. And it turns out that it's actually a Treat Williams double feature where you start with Deep Rising and then you give them The Phantom afterwards. And it's truly a treat.
It's a double treat. It's like 2 scoops of ice cream. Treat. I think that like you make a point like about it, like tonally and like the blockbuster staples that you want to see. Like it is, and I don't have the words to describe it, but it is so tonally similar to Independence Day, but not like it doesn't make sense how similar in like one is super successful and the other one is a Stinker Madness episode. There's just some word that doesn't exist in the English language that I'm not smart enough to define what that separation is between those movies because they both are trying to achieve the exact same thing. And one works and one works for us. But weird thing that happens in that movie that way. And I like it.
And the monster sucks.
The monster sucks.
It's a total CGI fail that has as well.
Yep.
I like that they go rob everybody, but everybody's dead.
Everybody's dead.
Except for the cat burglar woman. And then they're like, why are you locked in?
Famke Janssen. Yeah.
It also has this like sort of thing that's hard to do, I think, especially for me, where you have a movie that's basically in the set location. They do a little boating around. It doesn't seem like it's a confinement film, but it really is. Mm-hmm. And so you should be like really uncomfortable and kind of like, I'm kind of uncomfortable by the artificial tension that's happening here in the claustrophobia, but it doesn't try to manufacture that claustrophobia. It seems big and it seems free and it seems adventurous, even though it's really taking place in the one location.
Yeah.
And it stays fun the whole time. And that usually doesn't happen in these like single location pictures.
Yeah.
I also really appreciated when the monster attacked when they were doing their big welcome to the cruise boat. Yeah. And then the monster comes in and kills everybody and people are running.
Oh, people are flying through the air. Like rich people smashing against walls and like the gambling tables are flying at them. Just rich people getting decimated by furniture. I think everybody likes.
Yeah, I that scene right there was what did it for me for that movie. I was like, this is amazing.
Okay, number 1, Jackie, you're going to close it out.
Y'all ready for this? Okay, no. I actually picked Lisa Frankenstein.
Okay, all right.
That movie was just tits for me. I mean, it's just... It was funny, and I liked when the guy got his wiener chopped off. And I like how she progresses from being this, really introverted kind of person. And then she becomes a murderer, which is awesome. And then I also really liked that her and her sister could not have been totally different, right? Like the stepsister is all bubbly. And then the mom was just owning it. And I loved her outfit. Her 80s outfit that when she had her little headphones and stuff on and the guy comes to the door and then she goes to go eat her cereal and there's a dead bug in there that he spit into her cereal. And, the romance scene with the piano where, what song was that?
Oh.
REO
Speedwagon.
It just captured my attention. Like the whole movie just...
What started out as friendship has grown stronger. I can't fight this feeling. There it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The whole movie and the sun tanning bed and how it's just fucking ridiculous, right? Like, we'll stick you in the suntan bed, and that's how we're gonna reanimate your parts. It just was funny, and it was smart
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
for
is
what
smart.
it was, and I loved it.
I'm glad that
I
it's
mean,
here because
I put it elsewhere.
I put it
on this
elsewhere as well.
episode.
I'm glad that it's here because I've been thinking about it ever since we did our episode on it. We always ask questions, but we missed this one. Is he a Frankenstein? Or is he a zombie?
Kinda seems like-
kinda. He's kinda. I don't know.
I mean,
He's a Frankenstein monster because he's got different parts and he got electrified to come back
yeah,
to
but
life.
he's
so.
not created by somebody. He's just a corpse that got reanimated by electricity.
Yeah.
So he's a.
Yeah, but then she kind of Frankensteins him because, like, he's missing a hand.
Mhm.
He's missing, a wiener,
Mm-hmm.
an ear, right? And so she's Frankensteining him back together.
Okay, so
But then at the
she's
end,
actually
he looks like
Frankenstein, and he's Frankenstein's monster. Fire bad.
Well, she's also a Frankenstein monster.
Well, she becomes one
At the
She's
end.
married to.
Yeah.
She's actually Lisa Frankenstein's monster. Her last name after she's married is Frankenstein's monster. So she's
And I like how at the end he had put on her tombstone and beloved
Mhm.
wife.
Yeah.
yeah. So she's Lisa Frankenstein's monster. That's it. Okay, it's the extended title. There you go. That's the top 10 stinkers of the year, or quote unquote, because I've got some honorable mentions. Highlander 1. Strike Commando 2 was also on my list. Anaconda, I still think is a great bad movie, even though Sam hates it. But it turns out he doesn't hate it as much
I
as
thought
he
somebody
hated.
was going to pick Anaconda.
He doesn't hate
It
it
has
as much
such
as
a
he
star
remembers
rating
it.
on our. It has one of the highest star ratings on our year.
Yeah, so...
I showed it to our son, who is 10 years old, and he thought it was pretty rad, especially when the snake jumps up and bites somebody in the face.
I like Anaconda. Sam, honorable mentions.
I didn't, obviously, Vamps. I chose not to use my nethers to vote with that. But there was 2 Friddle and Ray movies, The Tomb and Phantom. The Phantom Empire.
yeah.
We didn't even get
But
close to.
Sybil Danning didn't make the list this year. That's how good this shit
Sybil
was.
Danning
Yeah.
didn't make the list. Trumpy didn't make my list. And the Slime Girls and the Bolorama thing
Yeah, I mean-
would normally make the list,
Looking
and
out.
it didn't make the list.
Yep.
So there's quite a few that just didn't have the...
It was a good year.
And then I didn't get Strike Commando 1 on here.
Right.
so.
Right. It was a good year. Jackie, do you have any honorable mentions?
Nothing that you guys haven't already said. I mean, I don't know. You guys have already said all of them.
Okay.
I really feel like this year was kind of a rough year, like Sam said, as far as like trying to vote for things and like put the movies that I remembered, because that's how I do it. It's like first thing I do is I go through and I think, okay, do I even remember this? And then the next thing I do is, okay, which things were most impressionable for me as a viewer? And it could be, I mean, some of these movies, like, they weren't necessarily my favorites, but they were the ones that made the best, like, the most impression on me. And I think about them, right? And I still think about things like, you want to ask more questions about Highlander, but, that episode's over.
you're not gonna get
and
answers.
You're like, yeah, you're not going to get answers now. And especially like Highlander 2, you're like, oh. Like, it's really hard, like, when we were doing this, not to be like, so I know I didn't ask this on the podcast, right? But, because they do stick with you. And I think that you guys have really named off all the ones that I also would give honorable mentions to. And some of the picks that you guys had, like the Slime Girls in the bowling alley and the T-Rex, Sarah and the T-Rex.
Tammy
and the T-Rex.
Tammy and the T-Rex. Those are both ones that I would totally honorable mention. And I'm getting the nod from Justin, like, shut the fuck up. You've been talking now for over a minute.
You've been talking for like 10 minutes and you don't even have any honorable mentions. When asked, Jackie, you got any honorable mentions? Well, no, I don't. But let me tell you a fun story.
I really haven't talked much during this
bullshit.
podcast, so I really feel like here at the end, I should really try to take up as much airtime as possible.
Right. Everybody's clicking their phones off. Okay.
Where are we at on Sword of the Valiant? Because that sucked, right?
It sucked. Yeah, but it sucked.
Like that should have. I remembered it, and I'm like, is this on the outside looking in? But I remember nothing about it.
Yeah, no, just that Sean Connery. It's just stupid. But we got to move on. We've made our list. Those are our choices. Now we do our favorite movies of 2023, films released in the year 2023. There are Oscars, and I'm going to start with Jackie. Since you ended last, you get to double up. Do all three.
Lisa Frankenstein.
Okay. That's as far as she got.
That's it. Okay, I'm gonna admit it right now. I didn't remember to do that.
Oh, you suck, dude. Okay, well, name two other movies that you super liked from 2023. Okay, you'll circle back to you. Maybe they'll flush something out because I guarantee one is one of your favorite movies. Sam, go.
I did a bad job watching movies this year,
Yeah.
but the ones that I liked the most, and I would have thought that Air and John Wick would have been on here, but they didn't make it. Also, Miyazaki and Alexander Payne made movies this year. I didn't watch either one of them, which is weird because I'm usually in on those guys. But number 3 for me was Lisa Frankenstein because I thought that was a damn good little film.
Damn good little film.
Number 2 for me was The Killer because it was a love letter to one of my favorite movies of all time, Les Samurai. Mm-hmm. And it was adequately done. It was done without any regurgitation. So that's, it's personal, but I just loved that movie. And for me, the number 1 movie that I liked the most has nothing to do with critical consideration. I think that it's a movie that had a lot surrounding it, and it accomplished something that none of its universe did. And it gave us a good ending to a beginning, middle, and end story. Guardians 3 was fucking fantastic.
It was good.
I loved that movie.
It was good. It was on.
That's the movie that I liked the most. I don't know if it's the best movie.
Yeah.
But the movie that I liked the most that I saw this year was Guardians 3.
Yeah. No, I don't fault you because it was there and it was hard kicking it out for me, but I liked these other 3 so much more that I had to kick out American Fiction and The Holdovers, which I thought were fucking amazing movies, and Guardians 3. It was like, hey, a good Marvel movie. And we're all going to move on and realize, okay, that's kind of sad. Like, there was no end game feeling to Guardians 3. Everybody just kind of watched it and was like, that was really fucking good. And then it kind of disappeared. Like, we weren't like, God, I can't wait for the next Marvel movie because we know the next Marvel movie is going to fucking suck because it wasn't this one. So it was kind of bittersweet at the same time, but it was fucking good. Yeah, I'm with you there. My top 3, starting with, I talked to Sam about this. It's all a big shock, not really, is Barbie. I fucking loved Barbie. I thought it was amazing. It's flawed in one way, and it's Kenner or Mattel getting involved with the movie. It wasn't funny enough, so they stuck 2 very funny people in, Will Ferrell and Kate McKinnon. And they sucked. I hated Will Ferrell and Kate McKinnon in this movie. They dragged it fucking down. Their jokes were flat and stale. It was the worst part. That was the reason it didn't get number 1, because other than that, it is a 10. One thing I want to get on a fucking soapbox about this movie is everybody's like, oh, female empowerment, and down with the patriarchy about this movie. That is not what the fucking movie is about. That is not, for the final fucking time, Barbie. The song itself says, what was I made for? Barbie has an existential crisis at the end of this movie about what she's made for, while Ken is also having the same existential crisis. Ken also doesn't know what he's made for. He's like, this is the role that I'm supposed to play, which is what Barbie's going through at the exact same time. It's not about, oh, the patriarchy's bad and women need better rights. It's about we all fucking don't know what we're supposed to do with our own identities, you assholes. All of us. Men, women, all of us. It's a fantastic goddamn piece of movie that says a lot about philosophy that nobody fucking buys into. They just fucking buy into what the fucking Twitter bots want you to fucking think about. Now I sound like J. Jonah Jameson. And I should, because I'll get that Spider-Man. He's a menace.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, Barbie, I was fucking blown away. and fucking Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling are fucking national treasures, and fucking get Teddy Roosevelt's face off the fucking monument, put them both right in his spot, because they are fucking treasures. We should take care of them. Paint them in fucking epoxy and stick them on a shelf somewhere. That's how important they are. Somebody should have joked like Margot Robbie's from Brazil. I would have been like, oh shit.
She's from Australia.
No, she's fucking American as shit. You're thinking of Tits McGee, Cole Kidman.
Tits McGee.
Margot Robbie's American. God damn it. Okay, we're moving on before you can answer that. Number 2 for me is Lisa Frankenstein. It's a fucking amazing movie. Bold, chancy, risky, brave, beautiful. I adore it. It's fun. The 80s elements of it are spot on, and it's not just like, oh, the 80s are cool again. It's like, whoa, shit, the 80s were cool then. When she makes the transformation to hot goth girl, I'm like, good. That's where I get a little bias with the Alicia Silverstone thing, and I love that fucking look. And then my number 1 movie is Poor Things, starring Emma Stone. Fucking amazing. Like crazy. Speaking of taking chances, Jesus fucking Christ, man. They should have just said, this movie is called We Are Taking All of the Chances. And like 99% of people are not going to want to watch this movie. And it's fucking bonkers. It says a lot about people and humanity and what we are as a shared culture and a shared experience and what that even fucking means. When you know the hook, and I'm not going to tell the hook, when you hear the hook, Willem Dafoe tells you what the hook of the movie is, and you're like, wait, what? That's what this fucking movie is about? Holy fucking shit. I am not sure how I feel inside. And then you watch, I can't remember the character's name. Emma Stone said that during the Oscars, it was a gift. This character was a gift to her. And it is, because that character is, again, like, Barbie and Poor Things are both in the same like philosophical state that like they're Jubal Hershaw movies. They are Robert Heinlein movies that like Stranger in a Strange Land, but with a Emma Stone, a fucking very naked Emma Stone throughout the whole thing. I was fucking blown away by Poor Things, and it's beautiful. The fucking set design, the production. All of it, like the backdrop paintings are fucking amazing. They're gorgeous, and everything's gorgeous. It's just a fucking crazy movie until you realize what the fuck it's about, and you're like, holy God, this is horrific. It's like the same horror that you liked in that Antonio Banderas movie, Sam. Under the Skin.
The Skin That I Live In.
The Skin That I Live In. It's horrific, but beautiful at the same time. It's fucking Poor Things is dumb, crazy, artsy, good stuff. Jackie. Sam, go ahead.
I'm excited to see it. I haven't been able to see Barbie or that one yet. And Margot Robbie is from Queensland, Australia.
God damn it. She's a goddamn American treasure. We're taking her from the Aussies in the racial draft. Just because Poor Things is not for everybody, Sam. Just letting you know.
I've seen all of his other movies, and that's where I actually didn't like rush out to see it, because I didn't like The Lobster very much, and I really didn't like Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah.
So
okay, I'm just saying.
But I like Dogtooth.
Don't watch it in mixed company. Be careful who you watch it with, because it is not for everyone. Jackie, did any of those picks help you out with your top 3?
Yes, I had time to review the movies of 2023, and I have narrowed it down to 5.
Oh shit!
So, Poor Things was also on my list. I absolutely thought that movie was brilliant. Barbie, also. A film called Saltburn.
Yeah.
I don't know if either one of you
That's just
guys...
a little film that everybody in the world is fucking talking about for its pornography.
I don't know if you guys saw
I have not
that.
seen
I didn't
Saltburn.
watch it.
Yeah.
It was really good. Cocaine Bear also made my list. I fucking thought that movie was the bomb. It was funny, and I loved it.
Right.
And finally, I'll round it out with Renfield.
Renfield was your number 1 movie of the year?
No, I'm not going to take the time to tell you what was
I'm
one,
thinking
but,
Lisa Frankenstein was her number 1.
Probably should.
Yeah, Lisa Frankenstein was my number 1. But I also really like
Renfield's good.
I thought
Renfield
it
was a
great
blast.
movie.
Total blast. Underrated. A way underrated movie. Critically panned. I thought it was great. That's your show, guys. Next week is my pick, and we are doing Highlander 3. 3, because finally. So watch these movies that we talked about, especially Lisa Frankenstein, because it's currently streaming and a lot of people haven't watched it. We want to encourage that behavior. Have a great week, guys, and get to the chopper.